Hi, I'm Simon Chilvers. I'm the Sales Director at Backbone Connect. Actually, no, you might think it would. When landowners leave these systems or internet connectivity to the individual tenants, all of these systems get designed in isolation. So the smart building, the common network system, IoT, TV-IRS, all designed in isolation, all installed separately by different contractors at multiple times. What you get left with is a huge amount of equipment that basically is never reused and just ends up stripped away at some point in the future and put into landfill. The polycarbons in the networking equipment, the glass and plastic in the fibre, the CO2 emissions from the multiple installation teams that arrive on site, and we don't know what journeys they're making and how much impact that actually is. All of this just constitutes to a negative environmental impact. In my opinion, there's a couple of reasons why. Firstly, it's in the planning stage with the asset owner, the landlord, the developer, and their key metrics of how they put the deal together. Connectivity isn't seen as a major part of that. They'll look at yield, they'll look at return on investment, and they'll be conscious of BREEAM and all the things that entails. But they won't think about connectivity at that point. It's too small, it's too irrelevant at that time. They believe it doesn't impact that. What happens then is it's ignored and any cost implications ignored, and it doesn't then follow through in the actual program and the actual delivery of the project. So it's therefore a shock. Therefore it gets left to the tenants to provide their own. The second challenge really comes in that construction and design space. And there's an element of, well, we've always done it this way and it's always worked, which is true. What people don't realise is the duplication and the waste. So the challenge for us here is that in the design phase, in the procurement phase, it's probably not known what the network requirement is going to be for all of these systems that are going to be sitting on any common network and the tenant connectivity. So therefore, it's very difficult to design at that point. It's not only until you get through the final procurement phase that you know exactly which systems are going to need what requirement of the network, and then someone like us could scope it. But different mechanical and electrical systems have different requirements. Some are connected to the network, some are not. All of this basically means it's easier to leave it to individual systems and leave tenant internet connectivity to the end. Firstly, we need to get our message across to the asset owners, landlords, developers. Availability of business grade internet for tenants actually has a positive impact on revenue for them. Rental values increase, therefore yield increases along with that, and that's an important fact. The removal of tenant wayleaves and bringing tenants to the property quicker than a traditional design, again, means you're getting return on investment, rental income into your business quicker than you would in a traditional model. And finally, our EPD solution that we're bringing to market now actually provides BREEAM credits in the innovation and design section. It's a part of the wider BREEAM puzzle, but it just might be the important points that change you from excellent to outstanding. And in other ways, we can actually show an asset owner and a landlord that we save them money in the long run. Working with us to design an infrastructure for the whole building and all of the systems that go in it will be cheaper than the individual parts that go through the construction supply chain and multiple layers of margin that get added to it. And the success we've had, 140 buildings we've now got connected this way. We've been able to get these messages across and people buy into what we're actually delivering for them. For me, it's a timing and cost issue for those. The first one is the timing. So if you have one contractor providing one infrastructure, there is a real fight on any construction site for access to comms risers, basement comms closets. Stripping that out from multiple different contractors providing multiple different systems just eases congestion, allows the program to stay on time, and if you talk to any construction project director, that'll be the thing they're concerned about, is sticking to program. Also, our solution in a connected building is typically 12 core fibre distributed around the entire property. It's very easy for us to swap out the 12 core fibre for 24, 48, 96. We're already there as a contractor. It's just a bigger cable, but it's one cable rather than everybody fighting to put their own cables. Riser space is tight, and again, any construction site will tell you, and we can show numerous images of tenant riser and communications closets that are just a jumbled mess. We solve all of that. Yes, there are two actually. The first is all of this individual fibre, individual computing equipment is rarely ever reused. It just stays in the building until the building is finally renovated, and then more often than not is just disposed of into landfill, which again from an environmental perspective is terrible. The second one is around cyber security. There's a lot of push onto smart buildings, IoT, connected workspaces. What that does is it puts a large surface area for cyber attack on the building. All of these access points are designed to be open to communicate information as pass data backwards and forwards. That leaves the building vulnerable. Your tenants will have cyber security policies and will be very focused on accreditations like Cyber Essentials. The building's often forgotten, and the building is open, if not properly controlled. Our solution sits behind our firewall, and our cyber security audits and policies really lock the building down so that the landlord doesn't have a problem, unlike his tenants might.